Look, you've got a great quote here that the Amazon rainforests are not the lungs of the world, but rather the floating phytoplankton holds that crown. You also make a great point that it's hard to get emotional about green slime and being the lungs of the earth. It's not quite as romantic as the Amazon rainforest. Now, I'm not
sure. Not at all.
Well, I'm not sure that the phytoplankton's going to raise as much money for Greenpeace, let's put it that way. But it sounds like environmentalism, at least in the modern world, is a product that is being marketed to the masses.
Well, very much so. And it's got nothing to do with the environment, and it's got nothing to do with climate. It's about follow the money. Environmentalism is a new business, just the same as wind turbines are a new business created by government stupidity, or just the same as solar panels are a new business created by government stupidity. So whenever you say, I don't understand that, just follow the money. It's all about money, which gives people power. And we have now, because of this climate scare, been able to create huge ways of skinning people alive and taking all their money. And those people in the environmental movement talk about the Amazon. They've never been there. I've worked there. You get scratched and bitten by everything that's possible. You've got to keep your eyes open all the time because there are snakes at eye level. The hills are so steep that you've got to grab something that, well, maybe it's a branch, maybe it's a snake, and you're slipping down these wet hills. It's a horrible place to go to. So the environmentalists sit on their couches and have a moan and groan, but they've never been there. They've never experienced it. They don't know what farmers have to do. They don't know what the outback's like. But they are city-based people, and it's a product basically of Australia having 85% of the population that now lives in cities. They have no ideas. And the best thing for a person in an apartment to do is to go and take a holiday on a farm.
Yeah, they'll be terrified out of their minds. I mean, I've lived on a farm. It's not a place for Gen Z. It's just they're not going to make it, is all I'm going to say there. But look, there is a point that if you believe and you buy into the whole carbon is evil narrative and you've got several $1 trillion to spare, as several of our global institutions appear to have, if you wanted to absorb all the carbon in the world, shouldn't they be out building more rainforests and have, reforestation programs? I don't see them spending a fortune restoring the Greek islands back to their pre-civilizational state, or even large parts of Africa. All these trillions of dollars, why are they building renewables, which is blanketing the earth in silicon, instead of planting forests?
Well, by planting renewables all over the country, it means we reduce the amount of food. And I think one of the agendas is to actually depopulate the planet. Now, if these people are doing that, they should lead by the example. I promise to follow you. You pop off first, and I promise dearly that I will follow you. So I think we've got to hold their feet to the fire all the time and just say, well, show me. You do it first. You stop travelling by jet. You stop eating foods that are flowing in. You stop having heating and house cooling. You lead by example. But it's a whole new sequence of businesses that have been opened up based on people being scared witless. And to stop being scared witless, you just want to ask simple questions like, show me. What's the evidence? Or please demonstrate it. Do it first. And these simple questions people are fearful of asking because they get cancelled, or in some cases get their bank accounts frozen, as happened just recently with Nigel Farage. That is the way the other side work. We are living in totalitarian times where there are twinges of closing down parts of the way we operate as a society.
Yes, we don't get the feeling or the vibe that the billionaire CEOs in charge of all of this believe their own rhetoric when they go and buy islands in the Pacific and build their mansions at ground level. I mean, that isn't exactly, saying that they think the waters are going to rise. But finally, Ian, and let's have some fun. Let's pretend that Greta Thunberg is really onto something here, that the world gets a tiny bit warmer and, a little bit more ice melts. Are we facing a planet-ending catastrophe? Is humanity about to catch on fire and have a brimstone end, or will we be just totally fine?
We are in one of the coldest times ever for organisms to live on planet Earth. We know from history and we know from geology that every time it's warmer, we get a thriving of life and a diversification of life. In the case of Miss Thunberg, she may well mutate into an organism that has common sense. But until we get that warming, don't hold your breath.